Hey, good morning, family. In today's devotion, let's talk about today's thought. Treasure your time and use it wisely.
Welcome to today's morning devotion with Pastor Conrad. Be inspired today.
Today's thought comes from 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 24 to 25, which says, "All people are like grass, and all their beauty is like a flower of the field. The grass dries up and the flower drops off, but the word of the Lord lasts forever." A story is told of a 75-year-old gentleman named Rick who was speaking to a 30-year-old man named Tom. He was talking about life and priorities and wisely using his time. Tom, the younger guy, was talking about how hard he was working and how busy he was with his career when Rick smiled and said, "Tom, it sure sounds like you're busy with your job, and I'm sure they pay you well. But it's a shame you have to be away from home and your family so much. It's hard to believe a young fella should have to work 60 to 70 hours a week to make ends meet. Too bad you missed your daughter's dance recital last night." Rick continued, "Let me share something with you, Tom, that has helped me to make a good perspective of my own priorities. Have you ever heard the theory of 1,000 marbles? You see, I sat down one day and I did a little math. The average person lives about 75 years. I know some live more and some live less, but on average, folks live about 75 years. Now then, I multiplied 75 times 52 and I came up with 3,900, which is the number of Saturdays that the average person has in their entire lifetime. Now, stick with me, Tom. I'm getting to the important part. It took me until I was 55 years old to think about all of this in detail. And by that time, I had lived through 2,800 Saturdays. I got to thinking that if I lived to be 75, I only had about 1,000 Saturdays left to enjoy. So I went to a toy store and bought every single marble they had. I ended up having to visit 3 toy stores to round up about 1,000 marbles. I took them home and I put them inside of a large clear plastic container right here in my garage next to my tools. Every Saturday since then, I have taken one marble out and thrown it away because that represents the time I will never get back. I found that by watching the marbles diminish, I focused more on the really important things in life. There is nothing like watching your time here on this earth run out to help you get your priorities straight. Let me tell you one last thing, Tom, before I sign off with you and take my lovely wife out for breakfast. This morning, I took the very last marble out of the container. I figure if I make it until next Saturday, then I have been given a little extra time. And the one thing we can all use is a little more time. Now, isn't it amazing that we often put off the important things to do those unimportant tasks simply because we don't want to focus the time and the energy on the important things that life requires? I've often thought that, I'll get around to that later when I have some more time. And I know that you have too, but do you know how much time you and I really have? Peter reminds us to remember that like the flower grows, it blooms and it fades away, and the place it once was is often forgotten, that our lives are the same way. We don't play with time or waste time or mark time. We are to use the limited time that we have wisely. And to use time wisely is to know God, to love God, and to follow God. Come on, pray with me. Father, help me to be aware of those things I'm putting off doing until tomorrow, and to realize that tomorrow may not be promised to me. Help me to learn to live wisely and to use my time wisely, whether it's to call the one I love, or visit that friend that I know, or participate in the work that you have called me to, or spend time with my family. Help me to live with the awareness that I don't know how many more marbles are really left in my life's bucket. Amen. Hey, remember to make time in your busy life to become a part of a good weekly Bible study group so you can connect with others, you build your faith, you can learn and grow together as a family. Because the truth of life is, you can't succeed alone. Hey, if you enjoyed this, share it with your family and your friends, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and page. Blessings.
Thank you for joining us. Visit kingsedition.com for more inspirational resources for your journey today.